As you can tell, I'm going to be doing another true crime video today. This one's going to be a little bit different. I feel like most of the cases I've covered have been more recent, nothing earlier than the 1980s probably. But today we're going to be going to the early 1900s, the 1930s more in specific. This case is really creepy, and it's a very well-known case in France. I had never heard of it, but it took place in France. So odds are, if you are from France or maybe studied French at some point, you may have heard about this case. This case has been studied. It has been known to have inspired books and plays and music. I think a film too. So it's very interesting. And since it's October, I feel like we can start going into the more like spookier stories and cases. Before I get started though, I don't want to bore you, but all of my links are in the description. Instagram, second channel, Patreon, all that is in the description if you'd like to go see what I have going on down there. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys are actually seeing my videos in your subscription feeds, because it's a known thing now that a lot of people, I mean, this has always been a known thing, but a lot of people now aren't seeing their, subscription lists completely. Like, there are people missing. Some people are randomly getting unsubscribed to channels, and I've heard a couple of other content creators talk about it, like views are kind of down right now, which is weird because when you look at the analytics, everything is going up, but the views are going down, at least for me. I don't know. But since I'm like hearing people say, oh, I didn't know that you uploaded a video, or I didn't see it, or whatever, if you push that notification bell, you should be alerted when a new video comes out. Although some people are saying that that's not working either. But if you haven't pressed that bell by the subscribe button, then that may help. But okay, before this intro gets any longer and people get mad at me, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about the Papin sisters who lived in France in the early 1930s. Now, like I said, this takes place in France. There are going to be a lot of French names, a few French places. I'm going to mispronounce them all because I have never studied French a day in my life, so please don't get mad at me. I know that I'm saying it wrong. I'm going to try my best though. Okay, just wanted to put that out there. So the Papin sisters were convicted of murder in 1933 in Le Mans, France, where they were born, where they lived. They never really left Le Mans. So the sisters' names were Christine and Leah. Christine was born on March 8th, 1905, making her 28 when the crimes took place. Leah was born on September 15th, 1911, making her 22 years old at the time of the crime. And you know that I like to give background information when I can about the people that we're discussing, because sometimes that helps to make sense of some things. So I'm just going to give you a little brief overview of their family life and their early life. So they had a very dysfunctional upbringing. When their parents were dating, their mother was actually having an affair with another man, and when she got pregnant with their daughter Amelia, who was the Papin sisters' older sister, she's not really relevant to the story, but when their mother became pregnant with Amelia, their father married her. 5 months later, she gave birth to Amelia, but her husband, her now husband, was still a little, inclined to believe that she was still having this affair. So he made a formal public announcement, I guess that's what you do, city or because she didn't want to leave the man that she was seeing. I guess we'll never know. But she did not want to leave, so their marriage fell apart. Their father started drinking heavily. When Amelia was about 9 or 10 years old, she was sent to a Catholic orphanage in the area, mostly because her parents just couldn't care for her. So after a few years, she joined a convent and became a nun. And that's really the last that we hear of her. So now we'll fast forward to when Christine and Leah were both born. They're about 6 or 7 years apart. And when they were both born, they were given to different aunts and uncles in their family. Again, mostly just because their parents couldn't care for them. Now, I forgot to note actually that when Amelia went to that orphanage, it was uncovered that she was sexually abused by her father. I couldn't find any information on whether Christine and Amelia also were, subject to that treatment by their father, but I couldn't find anything. But I think that's just important to note there. So their early lives with their aunts and uncles were pretty happy, but in the end, they were both also sent to orphanages, just to be cared for better. I guess that's what they did back then. They didn't really have a relationship with their parents, really. And somehow, they were given the option, like, you can become a nun like your sister, and somehow their mom voiced her opinion that no, she didn't want that, she wanted them to work. So they were trained to become employed. So now, to give you a little bit of background on the girls themselves, Christine, the older one, was said to be a good cook, a hard worker, but she was very defiant of authority. Whereas Leah, on the other hand, was pretty much the opposite. She was very quiet, very introverted, but she was obedient. She always did as she was told, and she was actually said to be less intelligent than Christine. But through their time in the orphanage, and even later on past that, they proved to be inseparable. They were always together, but the weird thing was that they wouldn't really speak to each other. It was very rare. They were very silent, and that gave people a very eerie, creepy impression of them, because it was almost like they were telepathic, like they could just communicate just by looking at each other, and people thought that that was weird. So fast forwarding a little bit, when they were old enough to leave the orphanage, they began to find work as housemaids throughout Le Mans, to make a living. And of course, they always insisted on working as a pair. Okay, so let's fast forward now to the year 1926, is when they found a cleaning gig as in-servant, or in-house maids, is that what it's called? Or like live-in maids. So basically they had their own room in the house. They could live there as long as they worked. They found the job to work in the mansion of a retired man named 𝓢𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪. Very wealthy man. He lived with his wife, Leone, we're gonna call her, and their daughter, Genevieve. They had another daughter, but she was older and she was already married and had moved out of the house already. So it was just him, his wife, and his daughter, and then the two sisters as maids who had their own room. Now, the girls were required to work 14-hour days. They only got half a day off a week, but that was the norm for live-in servants at the time. They were on beck and call 24/7 pretty much, minus that half a day for the family whenever they needed or wanted something. So, because that was their job, they had really no problem with it. They did all their work. They did it respectfully. They did it humbly. And they got everything done that they needed to get done. They were just very silent while they did it and always worked together. They didn't seem to care spend time with each other. They were only seen together. And I mean, their employers, they didn't really mind as long as they got all their work done. So this went by for years with no problem. You know, they were very quiet, respectful, did what they had to do, and that was it. As the years went on, however, Leone, the wife, developed depression, and as time went on, apparently the girls became her target for, you know, letting out her aggression and her frustration and her anger and all those feelings that she was feeling. She took it out on Christine and Leah. And apparently, as time went on, it got worse and worse to the point where she started to get a little physical. I think I read that she would like maybe hit their heads or something, like push their heads, and a couple of times she would push their heads and it would like hit a wall, you know. So the girls started to kind of like, they had had enough at a certain point. And like, again, this is such like a long time ago. It's like, do we really know that she was doing that? Like, is there proof, or did they just say that? Like, we don't know. But that's the story. Every article I read said that, so we're just gonna take that as being true. So now let's fast forward to the night of the murders. They took place on Thursday, February 2nd, 1933. Now, Rene was supposed to meet his wife and their daughter for dinner at a party kind of thing, like a dinner party at a family friend's house. He was going to meet them there. His wife and his daughter had gone shopping that day, and they were just going to meet up later. So when they got home, the wife and the daughter, they went home after shopping to, I'm assuming, drop all of their bags off. And when they got home, all the lights in the house were off. It was completely dark. And the sisters explained to them that Christine had plugged in a faulty iron and it caused a power outage. And so at this, Leone got very annoyed and frustrated with them, and Christine just snapped and she lunged at her and began attacking her and actually gouged her eyes out. And while this was happening, she commanded Leah to attack Genevieve in the same manner. So I'm gonna insert like a map kind of layout of the house that I found online of their placements in the house right before the attack happened. So you'll see that Christine and the wife were together, and then Leah eventually came down as Genevieve went up and the attack ensued. The three weapons they used to attack were a kitchen knife, a hammer, and a pewter pot, which I had never heard of. I'll insert a picture. It's basically just like a teapot. But those are the three things that they used to attack them, and experts that reported to the scene later that day, they guessed that the attack took about 30 minutes, which in my opinion is a really long time to be attacking and hitting someone. That's a really long time. So later, before Rene went to the dinner party, he actually stopped home and he found the house to be completely dark again, just like his family did. But he just took that as, okay, they went to the party already, so I'll just go meet them over there like they were supposed to. Obviously, he got to the dinner party and was told that they hadn't gotten there yet. So he was like, oh, that's weird. So he returned back to his house with his son-in-law this time. And when they came back, the lights were still off, but the light in the sister's room was on. They could see it from the outside. They found that the front door was bolted shut from the inside, so they couldn't get in. So they were like, well, okay, this is sus. So they went to the police, and the police basically were able to go and force their way in. I believe I read that they climbed over like the garden wall or something like that, and his wife and his daughter in what they called an orgy of blood. Those were the exact words that I found, so you can assume that it was a really bad scene to walk into. His wife's eyes were found in the folds of the scarf that she was wearing, and for Genevieve, one eye was underneath her body, and then the other one was found by the stairs. Both of them had been stabbed and bludgeoned to the point where they were unrecognizable. That's really bad. So after finding them, they decided to go look for the sisters in their room because they thought that they had met the same fate. They thought that whoever attacked his wife and his daughter had also attacked the maid. When they got to their bedroom door, it was also locked. So they ordered a locksmith to get the door open. And when they went inside, they found the sisters very much alive, and they were actually in bed, naked, together. There was a bloody hammer with still pieces of hair on it on a chair nearby. They were obviously immediately questioned, and they immediately confessed to the murders very nonchalantly, with no remorse, very calm, like, yep, this is what we did, this is how we did it. So they were obviously arrested, and they were placed in jail separately, far from each other, which this, like, messed up Christine. She was so distraught because she wasn't with her sister that she was going crazy. So they were allowed to see each other once, and Christine like threw herself into her sister's arms and like started unbuttoning her blouse, and the conversation that happened right after that basically confirmed that they were having a sexual relationship, which explains why they were in bed naked together. So while they were in jail a few months later, after awaiting trial, Christine basically started to go insane. Again, Christine is the older sister. She tried to gouge her own eyes out, and she was immediately restrained and put in a straitjacket, and she was okay after that. But she did tell authorities or whoever that she had suffered from a similar fit of insanity the day of the murders. So she kind of tried to like play it off as, you know, the murders happened because she's not mentally stable, although they were both analyzed and they were both deemed sane somehow. So in September of 1933, a verdict was reached. It took a long time to come to this verdict for some reason, from February all the way to September, but in September the verdict was announced, and the whole town of Le Mans was like lined up waiting to hear the news because everyone was so like following the case so closely and was so interested, and like, you know, it was a big murder case, very gruesome, very public, and so everybody was lined up waiting to hear the news. So basically it was confirmed, as I'm sure you can guess, that Christine was the mastermind behind the whole thing. She had just had enough of the wife, I guess from, you know, not being treated properly, and she was the one that planned the whole thing. The court also concluded that Leah was basically, she was consumed with her sister. I want to find the exact wording that they said. The court concluded that Leah was completely consumed by her sister to the point that her personality was nothing more than a mere extension of Christine's. So they were basically two people acting as one person and as one personality, which is so weird. They were so consumed and so like in love with each other that they were like one person. So Christine was sentenced to death at the guillotine, which, if you don't know what that is, basically just severs your head off. They did that in the olden days. And for being an accomplice, Leah received a reduced state sentence. She only had to serve for 10 years, and she ended up only serving 8. However, Christine's sentence was later changed to life imprisonment. But her time in jail was not good. She was so depressed because she wasn't with her sister that she basically stopped eating. She wouldn't speak, nothing. She was just so depressed, and she would have like occasional fits of insanity. Again, she would just have these fits of just like momentarily going crazy. So she slowly withered away, and she died 4 years later in 1937. Like I said, Leah only served 8 years, and then she went to go live with their alienated mother, who she didn't really know. And it was said that under a false identity, she actually got a job at a hotel. I don't think it was in Le Mans, but it was somewhere nearby. So I guess she was able to kind of start her life over, sort of, without her sister. So experts have studied their mental stability and somehow deemed them sane, which I don't really understand. Maybe they were, and they were just evil. Could be. Their family, though, did have a lot of mental illness issues. They had a history of that. There was, suicide. Their father obviously wasn't in their right mind. Their mother was having an affair with this one and that one, and, they just came from a very dysfunctional upbringing. So I just think this case is so weird, and I actually found this case a long time ago. If you guys remember, I said I'm going to be doing like a creepy old case that I found. This is the one I was talking about. It just, I guess because it happened so long ago, like it took me a long time to kind of find all the information and piece it together in order, and so that it made sense. And I knew it was going to take me a while, so that's why I did Chris Watts first last month. Was it a month ago? It wasn't 2 months ago. I think it was a month ago. And so I'm finally getting around to doing this, and I'm gonna try to do true crime at least once a month. I'm gonna try. So that is all I have on Christine and Leah Papin. If you have any other cases, old or new, that you would like me to cover that hasn't been covered too much on YouTube, because I try to do cases that other